to the space, chasing all of the gains, chasing the pumps and all of the hype trains. But like in life, you buy before you could. Was told to buy when it was pouring like a rainmaker should. I buy when it's down, don't chase the boats that I miss. Cause I always make the time in mind. I sit the one out cause I'm patient like that. And I'll wait for the right time. I sell when it's high, I buy when it's low. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm just a rainmaker running the show. Calculated investments, I don't lead with my heart. Principles are simple, they're leaving a mark. Buy when it's boring, just gotta be smart. I sell when it's hype, like all the channels they pump it. That's when I was selling, got parabolic, they dump it. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm a rainmaker, making my own start. I'm with the future, learning the past. Makes it time fly by, years going so fast. The game plan is mine, I'll own it now. When I reach the top, haters asking me how. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck. The time is never better, the time like the present. This next 5 years is a gift and it's feeling like heaven. I'm committed to learn, to study and to know that nothing comes easy but with knowledge to gain. Show, sinking at this run, cause soon will come a bear market. Learning and growing and when it's slow will be the target. They say it's come out, Bitcoin is dead. The massive decreases can get to your head. I'm sticking around, the time is better. I'm strong like that, I'll let the others be fretters. 2 years time, the ball will bring back the gains. That makes it worth it because here comes the rain. So let's go rainmakers, let's make it all happen.
So with 2021 solidly behind us, there is some helpful data as we look at what we learned and what we glean from this data to give us some indicators for where the biggest gains are likely to be this coming year. I don't know about you, but I'm here in crypto, not only for the tech, but for the gains. Today, I want to share with you some insight into last year's data, as well as what asset types I'm going to be backing because I think they will have higher than normal gains. Welcome to the Crypto Rain channel. If you like money in crypto and are looking for a real investor's take on the crypto market, join the Rainmaker family. You can do that as simple as liking this video and subscribing with the all notifications bell enabled. Rainmakers are like the special forces of crypto, highly trained, not your average crypto trader or investor. Do note this isn't financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a crypto investor that went from thousands to millions in the past 4 years. So we're almost 2 weeks out of 2021, and looking back gives us a feel for what really went down. If I were to sum it up, the world caught on to NFTs, right? As well as the other massive gainers were ETH competitors. They had some incredible gains. Now, that's not to say there weren't a lot of other things that pumped earlier this year, but a lot of those gains evaporated. For example, DeFi did well in March and April of 2020. Well, it did really well in the summer of 2020 and did significant gains then. But last year, a lot of the DeFi gains that pumped in March, well, a lot of those evaporated over some time, as a lot of the biggest gainers were those third generation blockchains that are essentially competitors to Ethereum. And as ETH prices got so high because of all the NFTs, a lot of the focus went to some of those. Now, what also didn't happen in 2021, well, something that I expect will still happen. It just hasn't happened yet. And that's a massive run on certain types of altcoins that I'm really looking forward to. I also want to take a look back today at something we covered on the show back in February and March. And I know many of you like my thoughts on it and also bought some, and it recently just did 100x. We'll also set some time aside to make sure we get to interact with you. I want to hear your thoughts, especially your concerns later, and we'll have some time set aside to interact. Now, if you'll bear with me, you can tell I'm still a little bit green under the gills, like I got hit really hard with Rona, but I wanted to do another live stream and interact with you. So if I'm a little bit slow, my brain is foggy, I don't feel well, but I didn't want to put off coming and being with you again. So yeah, let's go ahead and welcome our producer, D Money.
Hey, what up, Jay? How's it going today, man?
You know, it's good. It's good to be back. I'm looking at the chat. I see Web Zombies is with us, Doctor of Stuff, Stardust Run, Bernard, Claybomb, Jay Dow, sweet. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, for sure. It's good to see everybody. It's good to see you too, man. We really appreciate you powering through this and being with us today, because it is something where I get used to listening to you every day, you know, whether I'm here, you know, remotely or in studio or whatever. And so, yeah, it's nice Nice to have you back. And yeah, let us know if it's if we just need to cut it a little bit shorter. Then I think everybody will be understanding of that. So anyway, but let's go ahead. Let's get the party started.
Let's do it. Join me, Rainmakers.
All right. We are back.
All right. You know, who in the audience has been with this channel since early last year? Who here took a look at Veve's app, specifically at the Todd McFarlane Batman? So in the NFTs, some of their NFTs on Veve, you know, back then I seemed to think that these would do really well, particularly that Todd McFarlane one, which was still purchasable on the in-app store back then. Now, unfortunately, there was another one, Edward Rizzo, that was completely sold out, but there seemed something special on that Todd McFarlane one. And can you say, really bad joke, but holy smokes, Batman, for any of those that watch the old TV version of Batman when Robin would say all those dumb things, right? So as of last night, Todd McFarlane's Batman was selling for $8,000. So its original price, I think available all the way through April, was $79.99. Now, how many of you in the audience got some of those? I know some of our Rainmakers did. Yes, 9 said original Todd buyer here. Thanks to you, Rain. Hey, great job. 100x to you. That's so awesome. Yeah, now some other ones like that Rizzo did better than 100x, but I didn't happen to get one because when I first went to the Veve store, they had just sold out. And so if you later got one on the market, the cheapest price I ever think I heard of them was $800 to $1,000. I think they're trading at like anywhere from $15,000 to $18,000 now for the Rizzo. So if you were able to buy it on the in-app store, I think it was around 60 or something. So that's done some tremendous gains. Some other things that have done tremendous gains. Who in here happened to get one of the Spider-Mans? What is it? Ultimate animated secret rare Spider-Mans. Because that was what they sell for if you happen to get one, $300, right?
400 on the
400.
drop. Yeah, that's what I was lucky enough to grab one for. And I know Doctor of Stuff, who's in the chat, I know Doctor of Stuff got one. He might have even grabbed two, if I remember right. The lucky someone.
He did grab two. I bought one of them from him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stuck.
Yeah, man.
One on the rebound. Ugh, that's so crazy. Yeah, and that one has it's trading at 55,000 today.
That one is over 100x as well. And so what was interesting is we didn't know when the token price would run again because it ran really hard in February all the way to 1.4 cents. And it has not since even passed that all-time high, though it will. And just with the NFT craze has finally spread a little bit over to Veve, a little bit. I think there's lots more room to go, especially in some of the things that haven't really pumped yet, because it's very specific what has pumped. And it's specific Batman, some of the first series ones, as well as, you know, the very first Spider-Man that was released. And so I think some of these will still do well, but let's talk a little bit about what some of these have done. The number 6 Batman has 10x Edward Rizzo from $70 to, actually, I looked it up just before the show, is about $20,000 now. Jim Lee's Joker was available forever for 80 gems, and it's now over 1K. Carmine Infantino Robin was $60 when it came out, and it's now going for $2,800. Yeah, the floor on the Ultimate Animated Secret Rare Spider-Man, when I checked, was 55,000. Now, how does this fit into the bigger picture of what this year is going to look like? Well, NFTs and third-gen blockchains really came of age. Veves were a bit behind, but have started to catch on. I just use the word started because how much are Bored Apes going for? Like 200,000 plus, right? And there's, 10,000 of them? And so some of these collectibles, like the secret rare Spider-Man or some of these other things, I think have bigger gains that they can have. But I would be cautious of a pullback because there's been such a big run on these. Now, the quality of Veve's NFTs, can we agree they're completely top notch? Now, with the money transmitter license coming through soon, switching the collectibles over to Immutable X, this was always going to happen. And those with foresight who could take a look at it, make some positions and be patient, well, they're the ones with massive gains. And I use the word like a lot of times you're looking for things that have good fundamentals and then you're patient with them. So if you bought in February or March, what happened with your Todd McFarlane for the next 4 months? Nothing, right? Didn't go up in value at all. The resale market was just about the same. I don't even remember how long it took them to sell out. And then finally, what was it, about 3 months ago, they pumped over $1,200 and then maybe even up to $2,000 and then retraced down to $1,200. So this is how a lot of this, the crypto market goes. What you're looking for is identifying things that have a strong narrative, that have a strong value proposition. And then you're just being patient for it to happen. Now, we called it very early on this channel, and sometimes early is painful because nothing is happening. Then again, nothing is happening. And then nothing still is happening. And then, holy shnikes, Batman, look at the prices go. And that's how so often it plays back. So back to what I really want to share with you today. What is going to be hot in 2022? I think all those top altcoin gems I've been sharing with you, Spores, Wanchain, the OMI token itself, Drive, Split, EOS, Freeway token, as well as some new gaming tokens that will come out, video game tokens, and gaming guilds. I think they're going to be super hot this year in 2022. Even though it seemed like nothing is happening with some of these altcoins with these strong fundamentals, we're just waiting and just waiting. Well, if you've been through that with the Todd McFarlane's or with the Veve stuff, and you've all of a sudden seen it happen, you know that your patience one day pays off as long as you're getting stuff that the value proposition really adds up and makes sense. We can't control how soon it will pump. But what I do is I take strong positions and then I just wait. Now, we recently did a video on the top 10 coins for 100x on December 31st. Definitely check that video out. These are some of my top picks that I think are going to do amazing this year. But I really needed like 13 spots in that video. If you do go back and watch my past videos, you'll get a strong feel for what I really like. And I'm usually right, even if sometimes the timing takes a bit longer than I want. Now, this year, we will continue to cover what looks like it has the makings to be hot, even before everyone else sees it. And that's okay. I mean, it just comes through identifying something that the narrative adds up. It makes sense. And they have a strong team, a strong enough team to pull it off. Now, I expect this year we're going to see a crazy run and we're going to see some massive amounts of capital pouring into the space. And that is precisely when I'll be taking profits and putting them on the sidelines. Now, some of you in the audience have questions about what putting money on the sidelines means. For me, it mostly means putting the funds into stablecoins pegged to the US dollar that can be invested for some returns. Primarily two places I tend to invest, and I'll be putting my stablecoins for solid returns. Our Anchor protocol for a sweet 19% return. And the other is through Aubit's USD superchargers that pay 3% per month. That adds up to 43% annually when you compound it. For more on that, perhaps D can put up a link here in the video afterwards. If you're catching on the live stream, well, we can't put it up on the live stream, but I've covered Aubit and their Freeway token a number of times. And of course, we're going to go more in depth in it in the coming months as I start to take some gains and put them on the sidelines. Now, I wanted to share with you as well. Let me share my screen because there's a lot I want to get to with you. So step back and look at Bitcoin and really what's happening here. Look how well it did right on this resistance line, this line that comes from all the way back here, and it hit that. It broke below it just ever so momentarily, It kept closing right about that line, and it's bounced up from here. So I know when we have all these red days, it gets scary because we don't know if it's going to stop, and we don't know for certain that it's going to stop here. What I do know is the market tries to take the most amount of money from the most amount of people. And so sometimes it lets us go through this huge amount of pain to shake people out. I use the analogy of Navy SEAL training because I think it's so fitting. In Navy SEALs, they don't want to graduate huge classes. So one of the things they do, the instructors do, if they haven't had a lot of people quit yet, and they feel like they want to downsize, is they take them out into the ocean and they have them all sit down in the water and they lock arms and they have them sing and kick their legs and stuff. And they just keep them in the ocean till people start washing out because, for a while, like people just give up and quit. And in Navy SEAL training, you can quit at any time. All you have to do is you take your helmet, you go over, ring a bell, put your helmet down by the bell, and you're instantly whisked away in a van to a hot meal and a warm environment. And you're out and away from the stress. Well, a lot of people wash out in that because it's very mentally draining. And if you came into crypto thinking it was going to be easy, I think you've realized that it's not, right? That it's not easy at all. In fact, it does everything it can to shake us out. And if you're still here and you're watching today, well, there's good news for you because you don't easily get shaken out. Notice that viewership across all of YouTube is way, way down on crypto channels. Why? Because people get shaken out and they come back and they miss some of the action that's happened because they just keep coming back too late. They come back when everybody's talking about it. The time to be looking at things is when everything is boring. That's why I use that analogy. This system, I'm really excited for this coming year because so many of you are going to see how well this system works. And it's going to be really exciting to see some of the results that a lot of you have. And I'm excited for that. Let me just check on the chat. Love being early on NFTs. Hit them likes. Thanks, Web Zombies. Yeah, would love it. Dr. Steph, I regret selling One to Rain. Yeah, I mean, I paid $3,000 for it. And then it dropped down below that. And I was like, well, shoot, could have got it cheaper. And he was nice enough to sell it to me at that because I was able to give him ETH rather than having to feed gems into the whole system. And so, yeah, who would have guessed, though, it would have 20x from even the $3,000 that I paid for it. So I did buy another one when it dropped down to 2,200 because I had a feeling that one would do well. But man, can we say that they've done incredibly well, and probably there's going to be more growth. Although do watch for retracement. When we have this really quick, huge, fast spike, often it retraces some of those gains. So I wouldn't FOMO into one that's just pumped a whole bunch. Okay. Bernard Manga, you are great. Thank you. Thoughts on Monkeyball? Looks interesting. I really need to see a video of what the gameplay is like. It's kind of like monkeys playing football or, in the US soccer. I really got to see more about it to see what I think. I know Crypto Banter covers it a lot. And they have some giveaway on his thing. That's cool. I can't say that I think it's great until I really look for it. Who else is excited for 2022? Yeah, that's a great question. Who is excited for 2022? Because this year, it wasn't clear how it was going to play out. If December was going to be really strong, if it was going to be mildly strong, and we would have a lengthening cycle, or that nothing really was going to happen in December at all, would further reinforce this lengthening cycle. Well, I'm pretty sure we've seen how that's played out, right? Inflation numbers just came in.
Yeah, I know. For me, I'm super excited for 2022. It was one of those things where like I've been in this space for such a short amount of time. I felt a little bit like oh my gosh, I gotta get everything in before the market really pumps, right? And I feel like now I have some more time to get all my ducks in a row to realize some of the life-changing gains. Maybe it's not going to be huge this cycle, but at least get myself a little bit ahead to be in a good position for big gains after the bear market. So I'm really excited that we've got a little bit more time.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, sometimes these unexpected pullbacks, that they're a real blessing in disguise, because it allows you to buy it at a price that you never thought you would be able to. One of the challenges is sometimes we have all our capital deployed, and that's something I've run into like tons of times over the past 4 years. I started, like many of you, really just a dream and a hope. Like I had some assets in real estate that were growing, but they do grow really slowly in real estate. Like literally, to build massive wealth, it takes 30, 40 years. And I made some mistakes my first go at real estate that I lost everything. I had about 14 properties, went all the way to 0 properties, plus a whole bunch of debt that I still had, and had to start all over, and was rebuilding that. Made some mistakes, yes, in real estate, but then went through a terrible divorce, which really sapped all the money away and made sure I lost every one of those properties. And so I was starting all over, and actually it was coming together and doing really well when a friend introduced me to crypto, and I saw something that had very like fast cycles from 4 years from beginning to end, and it had massive volatility, and it was an up and coming tech sector that was going to change the world, and got me really excited that I went all in. I stopped investing anything personally into real estate. I was putting everything I could into crypto, and I kept my day job for way longer than I probably needed to, but I strongly recommend that to all of you. Like, until you can, like, one of the challenges I see is sometimes people retire a little bit too early to do crypto full time. But really, if you do crypto full time, what are you going to do with all that time? Why not keep the income coming in, so you're not having to sell crypto in order to then pay for your daily expenses? That way your assets can continue building for you. So I'm excited about this year. I want to recap a few things. Let me share my screen again, and I'm going to share with you just how much these things pumped. So looking at this, I mean, look at where ETH was at the beginning of the year. It was about $700. Now, you know, it hit a big dip, went all the way down to 3,000, but it's pumped tremendously. But the big gainers are right here. Phantom, at the beginning of the year, you could have bought Phantom for about 2 cents, 2.5 cents, all the way over 100x. Now, if you had bought it before, it was really cheap, all the way back here at like half a cent. Avalanche did some amazing numbers. So back in January, you could have bought Avalanche for about $3. Went 50x, almost 50x, went up, peaked up at about $135. We have Polygon. Polygon did some very impressive numbers. January 2021, you could have bought it for about 2 cents. Went 100 and almost 150x, almost $3. So these are the Ethereum competitors that we saw them do incredible numbers, right? Let's see. It's really making it. Keeps like my share the screen video keeps popping up when I try to like, okay, click on the next tab. One of the other Ethereum competitors that really took off was Terra Luna, which was trading under $1 in January. In fact, about 50 cents, and went broke all the way up to about $100. And then we got, okay, share the screen thing is getting annoying. There we go. Here we have the Veve app. Now, those of you who've been in the audience for a long time, you already know this, but if you're new, you can download the Veve app on your mobile phone. You then have to fund it through gems. Gems are essentially equivalent to $1. Now, there's some downsides to these right now. Right now, you know, if you sell your stuff for gems, you don't really have an easy way to cash out your gems. That will be fixed in the near future. Back when we were buying these things, they didn't even have the marketplace working when we started. So some of the values have done well, but like if you look at this Captain America one, this secret ultimate animated one on this hasn't pumped tremendously yet. And maybe Captain America is never going to be as big as Spider-Man, but a lot of these collectibles I think will do really, really well. And some of the comic books as well will do exceptionally well, even just the common versions of it. So one of the things that I've been doing over the last number of months is on the comics that are kind of priceless comics, that have done well that collectors really love is just picking up a whole bunch of those commons. Now, I did want to share with you as well, we have a strategic relationship with Chain, and they've been very good to us, and they give us 500 won to give away every month. So we give away 125 won every week. This Friday, we'll be giving away 125 won again. Well, Openzoo has created, now if you've followed me for a while, you've heard of them before. You've heard of Zookeeper before, but the people who brought us Zookeeper built Openzoo, which is essentially an NFT marketplace where you can trade on the Chain network NFTs. And it's come together really good. And this just opened up, I think, in the last week. And so there was some Zoo Genes that was done by that team, which was like a 10,000 mint NFT project, that they'll be playable characters for a racing game that's coming out. And so we see that trading volume on that is pretty high. It was 65,000 in volume traded, and the floor price starting at $38. As well as you can take a look at some of the other like up and coming artists that they've allowed to get on here. And some of these prices are really cheap right now. But if the Chain NFT network really catches steam, my guess is some of these that are cool could do really well. And it's a pretty low entry price right now. So I found some ones that had zombies that were really good artwork, and I bought some. I did dabble in the ones I had pulled up before. I looked at these, the floor price already $238, and they're kind of cute. And you buy them in Zoo. But if you haven't looked at these, I suggest you take a look at it. I remember when the NFT marketplaces came out for like Avalanche and for Solana and for Cardano, and some of those have done tremendously well. So I wouldn't sleep on this. Now, as to which ones will do well, I can't say. It's just a guess. You know, there's not really fundamentals we can look at other than what are the total number of items, what are the current owners, what is the floor price, and just thinking, well, is this art something that's going to do well? So I made a few like low cost purchases myself over the last couple of days, but definitely want to make you aware of this marketplace, because if I'm right on this, I think some of these will do tremendously well, just as we saw in Solana NFTs and Cardano NFTs and other things. So I did want to get back. I wanted to allocate plenty of time today to take a look at the chat. If you haven't already, could you smash that like button for us? That does help YouTube know to share out our videos. When we do cross over 25,000 subscribers, and we're almost at 22,000, we do have some bigger giveaways to give out. So smash those likes if you could. All right, let's see. Scottybeam's kind of died. You know, everything kind of died in that time frame. So just, I would call it life support. I wouldn't call it dead. We're seeing evidence that a lot of money is coming back into NFTs. And so I wouldn't be surprised to see if Scottybeam picks up with that. Some of the evidence really. Oh yeah. Some of the evidence with NFTs that I look for is just like, I have some me bits and I have some other NFTs. Now I just watch the offer prices that come in, and they come into your email. And that gives me an indication when you get a lot of offers start coming in and the prices start going up, that tells you kind of an early warning that NFT hype is coming back. And we've seen that since the beginning of January. So a bunch of money's been pouring into NFTs. So it looks like another run. Okay, showing the love. Check it. Check us out. Volt Army, Voltinu to the moon. Oh, okay, thank you, Manny. I do not know Volt at all. Sick. So hodl your projects, bros. Sweet. Once again, thanks, Doctor of Stuff. Anyone invested in Guild of Guardians? What about Multivac? Yeah, ZK rollups, Web Zombies brought up. Now they're talking about ZK rollups, not realizing how much better X rollups is. I haven't looked at the technical differences between ZK rollups and X rollups. Everybody's suddenly bullish. Don't you think we have another setback to 38 to 40K before the ultimate race? We may, and that's exactly why I don't play with leverage. So I don't have to worry about like if I start to get bullish and then we get hit another time. It doesn't wipe out my position. It just means I wait longer. And so that's why this system that I use works so well over time is you pick things with strong fundamentals, you buy them when they're cheap, and you just wait till they're high. And not everyone will do well, but almost everyone will do well because you're picking projects with strong fundamentals and hopefully a solid narrative. And so it's amazing how well this goes. Wow, we're getting hit with the Volt Inu, 6K holders in 3 weeks. Central Exchange. It sounds like a meme coin. And Pablo, we just don't do meme coins in here because they're too much relying on things that are completely outside of our control. Hype, right? There's not fundamentals to look at. And sometimes they do some plays on their tokenomics that can incentivize the price to increase, like Hex really doesn't have a lot of fundamentals. It did have really strong tokenomics and it's crushed it. I did invest in Hex. I don't cover it because there's some things that worry me about Hex. The fact that the origin address, whenever you minted some, got as much as you did. And so at some point that origin address, which likely is Richard Hart, could sell massively and crush the price. Bob the Builder wants us to look at LVT. We will do that for you, Bob. Just picked up Good Games Guild and Epic Prime. I like some of these guild ones. I think they will really do well. At least they'll do really well this year, if not permanently. It's a model that we don't quite know how it goes on this play to earn space that's being developed. But some of these play to earn games have huge asset costs that most players can't afford. And so a guild is a good place to acquire those assets and essentially lease those assets to people. And so, yeah. Let me pull up LVG here. I'm going to share my screen. All right. For you, Bob. We love you, Bob. Okay. It is not going to pull up. Let me try CoinMarketCap. Because I have not heard of LVG before. No. I got nothing for you, Bob. Okay, LVT. There we go. I was typing it in wrong. Take a look at fully diluted market cap. Wow, it's under 3 mil. I like that part about it. Wow, some really big highs just in December. And then they've gotten wrecked, but let's see the low on that. I'm trying to see if it made a lower low. It did make a lower low here. And as far as, okay, the opening of your yields across different chains and powered by nodes. I like where the price is at. Generating up to 890% APY in passive income. I would have to have a lot deeper look at this. And I don't have time to go that deep into this. A lot of the things that offer these huge APYs is an incentive to invest with them. They crumble because that's really the only thing they have going on. And then I would need to know that there's a lot more behind this than that. And we could see that price did really, really well. And then it did terrible. So it went to 3 cents. It's now 1/10 of that. As to whether it's a good buy from here, I can't say, Bob. All right, let me take a look at, let me stop the share. What up? Decentralized Sancho says, I got more. Hey, Jay, thanks for all your info. Am I right in thinking Aubit's gains primarily come from trading bots algorithms that they have? I've been hesitant to invest because I don't fully understand it. Mark, that is a fantastic question. Now, they lease a trading algorithm, or at least that is the claim. Have I been able to verify that? No. 4 years ago in 2017, there were a lot of projects that came out and said, oh, we have a trading algorithm, and they were really just Ponzi schemes, and they would pay out like 1% a day. And then one day they would stop paying out, and it would all crumble, and the founders would have made some money, and some of the early investors made some money, but pretty much most everyone lost money. So there's a little bit of similarity with that, in that there's like, oh, we have a secret trading algorithm that's leased. Now, we do know that there is a company out there that has a trading algorithm that averages 65% a year, like year over year. And this trading algorithm works. It's not being used in crypto. Makes sense, because they don't say the name of who they're leasing the trading algorithm for proprietary reasons. So though, when I had multiple conversations with them, they kept bringing that one up, which would suggest that maybe that is the one that they lease. And if so, then everything makes sense. They don't use the algorithm for trading crypto, so why not lease it to a company that is in that space? Because it doesn't compete with your assets at all. And so it's just an extra revenue source for them. So that would make total sense. And if that's the case, well, then what Aubit is offering completely adds up. Now, if there wasn't that uncertainty, then I would be putting all my altcoin gains, when I take them to stable coins, I'd put almost everything into Aubit's platform. But there's still that uncertainty. Like, I don't know for sure it's that algorithm. And so for right now, until I know something like that, I'll just be committing maybe 30% to Aubit's platform, because the gains crush everything else. You get like 43% return on your stable coins annually. It's about 3% a month. And when you compound that, turns into 43%. So I'm hesitant to go all in because of that, right? I do have a lot of their tokens, because I think as more people start to catch on to their platform, I think that'll really drive up the token price. So I loaded up on a whole lot of those tokens for the gains, because I do think if their platform catches on and it's truly legitimate, and I suspect strongly that it is, can't say that I know it, because I don't know that for certain it's the trading algorithm used by that company. If I knew that, I would feel way more certain even. But as people get used to it and they're using it and they feel more comfortable because they see the actual gains are happening, then the demand for that token will go up, because you have to hold 20% of your portfolio in that token in order to be able to use the superchargers that give you those really high gains. Hey, what about VET? Should I hold it or switch to another project? My guess is VET is going to be one that really picks up from here. Now, I've talked about this year. I'm just looking at it. Wow, you know what? It's had somewhat of a recovery today. Yeah, it's right near lows. I don't ever sell. I'm too stubborn to sell right near lows. So I personally wouldn't be able to sell my VET just against my principles at these kind of prices. I would just be stubborn enough. I would hold on to it till, it's back in the narrative, and that will happen. So what am I doing for 2022? I am in these altcoins that I've been covering all last year, and it's their time. So we saw in 2021, these third gen blockchains really took the stage. We saw a lot of money flow into those. We saw a lot of money flow into NFTs. But this year is going to be the year of these small cap altcoins going crazy. And it's going to be an exciting ride. So a lot of that's going to be happening probably by June this year. I expect that Bitcoin may peak out in May, might be sooner than that. I think the latest would be May. And then the altcoins will pump for the next following months. And then I think we'll be settling into a longer crypto winter again. Maybe not as long as the last crypto winter, but there is something contextually I really wanted to share with you guys. So let me see, Brave, new liquid coin index. Let me share my screen. All right. Okay, so a lot of people, when they're new in crypto, they get so frustrated because it is hard to tell what's going on. I wanted to share with you how the market tries to take the most amount of money from the most amount of people, like all the time, and how it shakes out so many people. So we had this big peak in 2017. By about here, I was pretty new. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, we're in the crypto winter. And I was starting to learn about the cycles and how Bitcoin peaked out like roughly every 4 years, and then it would retrace. And I was like, well, crap. And everything I had had retraced massively. It was too late to sell. And so I just kept what I had, and I put in new money as I made extra money at my job. And so then I was just watching, right? And it got really cheap here. And I was like, oh, that's so exciting. And so unfortunately, in my job, they had put a new boss that was really just like a micromanager, and I didn't even need a boss at all. I didn't have one with them. That's why I went to work for them. It wasn't like I was working directly with them. I was an independent contractor, and they hired this guy, and he was trying to micromanage me. So my income went way down because, I had, and it was unfortunate because I didn't have hardly any extra to put in all through here. And then it takes off like this. I'm thinking, what in the world? It's the middle of the crypto winter. Why is Bitcoin going crazy? And it went all the way to 14,000. Unfortunately, you don't know how it's going to play out. So on this ride up, I put more money in. They fired that boss, thank goodness. And all of a sudden my income went way up again. And then I had some extra that I was able to put in. And then who would have known it came all the way back down to almost these lows, just ever so briefly. And so like, it's frustrating being in the markets, taking risks, because they don't always pan out like you think they're supposed to or like you want them to. And this is why a bunch of people leave, and they just leave the space. They end up leaving so much money on the table, they have no idea. 10 years from now, 20 years from now, they'll tell their grandkids, oh, I bought such and such, and now if I still held all that, it would be worth 70 million today. And guess what? They didn't hold it all because they got shaken out. And this was crypto winter, and it was rough. And there was no indication to say it would play out like this. There was basically this big pump was caused by a Bitcoin scam being run out of China and India with a PhD behind it. They got Bitcoin to pump in the middle of the crypto winter, and then it still got savaged later. And so, yeah, I ended up buying a whole bunch of these higher prices. Unfortunately for me, if I had known it would have come all the way back down. But hindsight is 2020. Still, even with the mistakes, nothing like almost never getting exactly at the low, almost never selling exactly at the top, is still done so well by just committing to the longer term, following the system that we share with you, that has taken me from thousands of dollars to millions in just 4 years. And I'm excited because I did make some mistakes. There's some things I didn't know, and I didn't take profits that whole first cycle. My hope is that many of you, this is your first year, you take profits, you put them on the sidelines. You're in such a better position because I had to put in mostly new money this whole time. And I just was putting in extra money I had from my job. And my wife kept looking at me like, oh my gosh, why are you so broke? Why do you put in every money into this magic internet money thing, right? And yeah, now she gets it. She really gets it. All right, let me check out. I got into Veve because of you, Jay Murph. You are the man. Shane, congratulations, man. You made that decision yourself. I just shared the information, but you saw value in it. Thoughts on Casper Network? I can't say I know it really well. I'm sorry, I'm not feeling 100% myself. I am totally going to bed after this stream again, but I just couldn't go another day without like giving you some content, right? We did record a video with Paul that will upload tomorrow, so hopefully you can catch that. We will release that tomorrow. Have I looked into ice wearable poker NFTs on Decentral Game? I haven't. That sounds fascinating though. I'll have to look at it. Thank you for Martin for the well wishes. Cardano bullish. I'm very bullish on Cardano. I love it when people call Cardano out. They're wrong every single time they do it. Cardano is unique and it's got such a strong ecosystem. Like it's taken a very different approach. And I think Cardano is going to be around 40 years from now, and it'll continue to be a massive player. And every time people count it out, they're always wrong every time. All right. Cellframe. I do know Cellframe a little bit. I bought it through a Launchpad back in March when I was doing the Launchpads. Made tremendous money on it. I think I made like 15x, but I sold all of it back then, or almost all of it. I can't even remember quite what it does, but probably, let me pull it up the charts on that. Let me see. I am sharing my screen still, so why don't we just pull it up? Cellframe. Okay, it's $1.05. Let's go the 1 year. So went all the way to 542. Huge pullback. It's along this bottom trend line, right? And the reason why I liked it back then is it was strong. I don't remember even what it did, but service-oriented blockchain platform, strong team. Probably a good pick there. I'd say that's a good call, especially at the price that it's at. Has lots of room to pump. It's circulating supply 24 million, total supply 29 million. Yeah, market cap's 25 million. There's a lot that I like there. It was even just recently at $3, and now it's trading at right around $1. What markets is it in? You can get on gate.io. I would there is a link for gate.io. If you use that link and sign up using that link, you'll get 20% of your own trades back. Why not? Gate.io is really the up and coming platform, because a lot of the early stuff, instead of trading on Uniswap, you can get on gate.io, but also you can get it if you have some money over on PancakeSwap. That's also a good alternative. Look at that. It has lots of liquidity there. It does look like the liquidity on gate.io is lower, but there is still tons of liquidity here. So that looks like a good place. Well, Dee, do you have any thoughts?
No, I mean, Meowdy Pie just came through and said that Cellframe is protection against quantum computing hacks. So good to know there. But no, I mean, there's a couple other questions. A few people have brought up Solbank in the chat. Nemanja is asking if you still hold it, and if you're bullish on it still. I know it's pretty. I think it might have dropped below 2 cents today or whatever. If it was, I can't remember if it was 0.2 of a cent or. So it's at 195. So that's the lowest I've seen it, pretty much ever, right?
Yeah. So it recently hit like up above 3.5 cents, and probably, I don't know if there was a token unlock, but people get impatient and then they dump, and that's okay. Like, my patience can outlast them. Its narrative just hasn't hit yet. Think about what the Todd McFarlanes have done, right? And if you were holding those for a while, those Todd McFarlane one's on Veve, and I know some people that just got frustrated like 5 months ago and 3 months ago, and they sold all their collectibles on Veve, and I tried to talk them out of it because they just get impatient. And so Solbank, I'm still just waiting for it to happen, and I still think it's going to, and it's okay that it takes longer than I think. That pump is going to be really big if it comes, and it may never. That's why I didn't put 100% in it, but I did put $30,000 into Solbank.
Wow.
So it's a sizable position. So and I haven't sold. So if like you guys think that like I don't believe in it, I do believe in it. I do believe in it enough that I put that amount into it. So do I know what's going to happen? No, I don't. And if I lose that 30,000, it could be, I'll cry. It'll just be for an hour that I cry. But it is on a privacy narrative on the Solana ecosystem that's going to integrate with Monero. Just give them some time to get everything lined up and working, and so that it can hit the narrative. And then people are like, oh my gosh, Solbank, it's amazing. Look what you can do. And we'll be like, yeah, saw that one coming.
Hey, Jay, how concerned do we need to be about just the Solana ecosystem as a whole? I mean, somebody just brought up both Solend and Intersola. I mean, those were, from my estimation, like Solana has not performed well a couple of times, right? With the Solchicks, fiasco that happened where it shut down the blockchain, and then 3 or 4 months ago that same thing happened. And so is it something where long term, like, these projects are just going to continue to have these types of issues with Solana?
So the best way to fix something is recognize that a problem exists so that then you can fix it. So when people see these hiccups, they're like, oh my gosh, oh, it's terrible. We are in early days. This is what early days looks like, right? And so sometimes they don't know something's going to break till it breaks. And then they're like, ah. So do I see it as a problem? No, I see it as part of the growing process, right? There's enough money and backers behind Solana that that is going to happen unless something better comes along that everyone jumps to it. And I don't see that. I mean, Devio can do more transactions per second, and by far it crushes everything. And that could be a threat to Solana, but Devio is not. Devio is like Hedera Hashgraph in that it's not fully decentralized in the way that Solana is more decentralized. So I'm not concerned about that. You know, people wonder, like Cardano's had setbacks. ETH has had big setbacks. Like every major chain, Polygon has had setbacks. Polygon can't handle the volume very well. When it gets really congested, the transaction times take forever. So even though it's cheap, it's still like your transaction. I've had transactions get stuck for like 8 hours on Polygon. So it's just part of the growing pains and part of being early.
Meowdy Pie he just said, "Hey, call that TA guy for buy, wait, or sell." He must have not been on earlier in the stream, but yeah, we recorded with Paul earlier today, so that video will be launching tomorrow. Just with the holidays and Jay's sickness, it hasn't been we haven't been able to do one for a few weeks, but yeah, Paul from Definity is that guy, the TA guy. those are some of my favorite episodes too, so you guys will see that launching tomorrow.
Yeah, and we can, broadly speaking, say technical analysis. He's really on the price analysis. He just watches the price action. He's been doing that for 30 years. And just kind of price action does tell you what people are thinking about things. It does give you a different perspective. So I love bringing him on because at the end of the day, it's about creating a really informed audience so that one day, 5 years from now, when I completely retire, I'll be doing other things that you guys won't need me. I mean, that's the whole goal, is that I share with you this way of thinking that I didn't create, and that some of you guys better than me, I hope, if I do my job right, many of you guys will be farther ahead 4 years from now than I am now. So that's my hope anyway.
Yeah, Clay Bomb brings up a good point. Maybe Cardano was right with the slow development process, not crashing like Solana. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, that's why he took the slow route, right? Is so that he could build it right, so that they don't end up with millions or billions of dollars being transacted upon it, and then all of a sudden, oh wait, sorry, oh wow, we found this exploit or something, right? So he took the slow but sure approach, and sometimes people get frustrated because a week in crypto feels like 2 months. And so they're like, oh my gosh, is it still not done yet? And, they've been working on it for 6 years. In retrospect, that's not very long, but it feels like a long time.
Couple more questions. I mean, we it's your call, Jay. We're about 53 minutes. Do you want to wrap it, or do you want to take one or two more questions?
I think I need to go.
Yeah, I'm feeling that too. So yeah. Appreciate everybody being on today. And sorry, there's Martin. I'm going to look at UFO. That's a project I'm interested. He just brought that up, and but maybe we can get to some of these on Friday as well. So we do have that wand chain giveaway as well. So everybody come back on Friday, and we'll be doing that.
Yeah, I'd like to take a deeper look at UFO on Friday. All right. You guys, if you haven't subscribed already, what are you doing? This is a different take on things, right? This is like the Navy SEALs of crypto, and we don't get shaken out easy. We're tenacious, and we're working on being highly informed. And if that feels like what you're looking for, join us. Right, guys? Look forward to seeing you next time. And we've got this rap prepared for you. I wrote the words to this. Of course, I didn't sing them because I can't sing. Had Charlie from the UK sing it, but just reinforce the principles that we share on this. And this stuff works if you have the patience. If you're not one that can be patient, then this isn't going to work for you, because you're going to end up panic selling at the bottom. But if you can be patient, this is the best way to get long-term gains out of anything that I've seen. We'll see you guys next time.
all of the games, chasing the pumps and all of the hype trains. But like in life, shit, buy before you're good. Was told to buy when it was boring, like a rainmaker should. I buy when it's down, don't chase the boats that I miss. Cause I always make the time in mind. I sit the one out cause I'm patient like that, and I'll wait for the right time. I sell when it's high, I buy when it's low. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm just a rainmaker running the show. Calculated investments, I don't lead with my heart. Principles are simple, they're leaving a mark. Buy when it's boring, just gotta be smart. I sell when it's hype, like all the channels they pump it. That's when I was selling, go parabolic, then dump it. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm a rainmaker, making my own start. I'm with the future, learning the past. Makes it time fly by, years going so fast. The game plan is mine, I'll own it now. When I reach the top, haters asking me how. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck. The time is never better, the time like the present. This next 5 years is a gift and it's feeling like heaven. I'm committed to learn, to study and to know that nothing comes easy but with knowledge to gain show. Sticking out this road cause soon will come a bear market. We're learning and growing and when it's slow will be the target. They say it's come out, Bitcoin is dead. The massive decreases can get to your head. Sticking around, the time is better. I'm strong like that, I'll let the others be fretters. 2 years time the bull will bring back the gains. That makes it worth the effort cause here comes the rain. So let's go rainmakers, let's make it all happen. Let go with the hate, let the haters be crapping. I'm here for 5 years, let's do this together. The time is right, the time could be better. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm a rainmaker, making my own start. I'm with the future, learning the past. Makes it time fly by, years going so fast. This game plan is mine, I'll own it now. When I reach the top, haters asking me how. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck. Haters be hating, but time to slow down. Addressing what they say when I'm wearing my crown. They're chasing green candles like someone who was new. I got a vision that was bigger, helping me to push through. I'm still human and sometimes it is rough. And that's what makes me special, simply I stay tough. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck.